Okay, so we're calling our meeting to order. You all have the agenda in front of you. We have, the first item on the agenda was that we're going to skip the minutes, but we want to go right to Devin. Devin has got some great news for us. She's been with us. Oh, here comes Kirsten. She, as you recall, came to us, I don't know how many years ago that was, Devin. You've been working on this for a long time, but why don't you give us
Yes.
an update on where you're at?
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk to you all tonight and to give you an update on what Tucker is very right about, which is this film currently called The Harvard Five, a story of love, architecture, and a design revolution. So I've been consistently working on this, as you all know, for like 20 years, which all began, just as a little refresher for those of you who haven't heard me talk about this in a while, began about 20 years ago when my mom rightly said, Devin, I know you're off doing your other film projects and doing TV shows and whatnot, but you've got to start filming the key players in the story of New Canaan's modernist history and cultural heritage. So I did. And this year, after finishing a show for PBS, it looked like the window was actually here and now to finally finish this film. So we have finished actually over the past 2 years, we've done a number of additional interviews. We have filmed a number of additional homes using today's beautiful, brilliant 4K cameras. And we have added to the assets that we have exponentially. And the really exciting news is that we are about 3/4 of the way done with finishing the film. And we have a very hard and fast deadline, which is that we have been given the premiere spot at Palm Springs Modernism Week this year, which is also their 20th anniversary. So it is a huge event, Palm Springs Modernism Week. We are premiering in the primetime slot, opening weekend, Saturday night, with quite a bit of fanfare, I have to say. They're doing a big VIP reception for the film, sponsored by Design Within Reach. And then we'll have the film screening, and then we'll have a panel discussion after the film itself. So the whole event will be about 3.5 hours, I think, and that is just the Saturday night event. So we are going to have a ton of exposure at Modernism Week. And in the meantime, as with all projects like this, we continue to fundraise to bring it over the finish line. We need about 75,000 more to complete the project. And all of that money goes towards finishing the editing process, doing the sound design, the sound mix, uh, doing all the technical specs that are necessary for all the different external partners and distribution channels, which also include, and this is another piece of exciting news, PBS has reached out to us and also sent us a letter of intent that they would like to air the show, which is really awesome. The exposure for the state of Connecticut, the town of New Canaan, is going to be immense. And one thing that Tucker and I discussed, which is why Tucker invited me to come this evening, was the opportunity for New Canaan to take advantage of this film as a promotional asset for the town, for tourism, to promote New Canaan's identity and cultural heritage. And with this massive opportunity in Palm Springs, we expect at least 450 people in the first night screening, potentially more, but the event goes on for 10 days, and the film will be screened multiple times with multiple events incorporating the film and the town of New Canaan's historical cultural heritage. So there's an amazing opportunity to start promoting, for example, and this is what Tucker and I have talked about, October for Design during this film screening in Palm Springs, which is a built-in audience of people who not only have the financial wherewithal to spend time traveling to a place to learn about architecture and design history, but who also have the built-in interest. So they expect in Palm Springs this year to see around 350,000 to 400,000 people coming through their Modernism Week event over the course of their 10 days. So that's a lot of eyeballs, a lot of potential, and I wanted to share all of that with you all to let you know what the latest is with this film and to bring up this notion that we could put the film to use for the town of New Canaan's tourism and economic development. And again, as I mentioned, to bring forward that identity of New Canaan as having this unbelievably unique cultural heritage identity within the modernist story that we have here.
First of all, congratulations, because I know this, you've been at this, as you said, for 20 years, and I know, well done. I mean, to get it this far, and you're so close, but I get the whole point about getting it over the finish line. And did you also tell me that you've been in touch with the Playhouse and it's going to play here as well?
Yes, yep. So I've been in touch with Brendan and the rest of the team, and they have extended the opportunity and invitation to screen there at the Playhouse. We've also been talking to the library for close to a year now about integrating events with them during October for Design, but all of these ideas are, of course, in their sort of nubile stage. So, but those conversations are, in fact, very much happening.
Right. Fantastic. I will want to connect back with Nancy Geary. There's been a group of us that's been meeting offline on October for Design, just sort of planning next year's October for Design. Kirsten's been part of that, and so this will definitely be part of our next conversation. So we'll have to, we're planning to meet again in early January.
Okay.
The Palm Spring event is when again?
Palm Springs' actual premiere screening of the film is February 15th.
Oh, wow. Okay, coming up.
Coming up. It will be here before we know it.
Yeah, wow, fantastic.
Now, if I may, Tucker, just interject
Yep.
one more notion, which is that this is such an amazing New Canaan story, and it's such an incredibly unique part of our history that no other towns have. They may have a few beautiful, unbelievable examples of modernist homes in the area, but no other town, and I have cross-checked this with all the experts who are in, you know, from New Canaan, who are the experts from the Glass House, like Hillary Lewis, for example. New Canaan really is little known for being one of, if not the most significant town in the United States for this movement. Because not only did the Harvard Five come here, but Marcel Breuer, who was the instructor and sort of figurehead leader of this group, which then attracted multiple generations of modernist architects. Marcel Breuer is the direct link to the Bauhaus in Germany, which makes New Canaan's modernism all that more authentic, all that more important, historically speaking. And I feel as if, you know, New Canaan should really embrace this history. And still to this day, people don't know about this history of New Canaan. And I feel that the more businesses that can come on board, even if they don't know the history, know that, then learn the history, support the film, then are able to promote pride in that piece of New Canaan's history as well, can only help with tourism and economy moving forward. So I really do think it's an important piece that I really do hope more of New Canaan can get behind. And I don't know if that's something that TDAC can help me with, whether by introducing me to additional people, even though I'm all, you know, you all, those of you who know me and my family have been here for 3 generations, the fourth, I don't know, 3rd or 4th generations. So we're a long-standing New Canaan mid-century modernist family as well. But you never know. I think that whatever TDAC might be able to do to help promote this film and the story and the importance of this being such a huge part of New Canaan's history will only serve to benefit New Canaan in the long run. So that is my hope. That is my goal. And of course, it's all because, you know, because I care. It's my family's history too.
And I think that's why I asked when Devin and I talked a couple weeks ago, that's why I asked her to come tonight, just to make you all aware of this. And if any of you have any ideas that you can share, certainly email them to me, or I can connect you with Devin directly, of just how to wrap this whole thing up, because there are so many. I think I see this sort of as just the foundation of a lot of different things that can take place from this. And I think you're right. It's really what we're all about here. So.
Awesome.
Anybody have any questions for Devin? Or any thoughts, any suggestions? If you do, please get them to me. And then we can, help out, but we're definitely very excited about all of this.
Tucker, can I just, it's Meg, I'm sorry I can't go on
Okay.
Devin, probably for offline conversation, but I just wanted to connect with you about some things that we talked about in that subgroup that Tucker mentioned.
Yes. Oh, great. Thank you.
With the Glass House and with the Historical Society, the Museum and Historical Society, relating to the Architecture and Humanity film series at Grace Farms. We had one in October and a couple other things coming up in January. So you may already know about that, but I just connect you on that, since we've connected on other things in the past.
Oh yeah, Meg, that's so awesome. And yes, I have just I don't know, a couple of weeks ago I was looking at the announcement for what must have been the upcoming events in January, I guess. So that's really exciting. And gosh, it would be amazing to also work with Grace Farms on this film. And as you said, we've worked together in the past, screening a couple of my other films that I've done on different topics.
Yes.
So it'd be very cool to talk to you again about this film and what we can do together.
Great.
Devin, hi. Either I or Cole will be in Palm Springs, I'm sure, and happy to be there and in the audience and see it, and represent the Glass House in that context. But I also wanted to say next week, we are receiving an award from AIA Connecticut for the restoration of the brick house next week at a ceremony. And I'll talk to the AIA people. If you haven't connected with them in Connecticut, they do lots of events, and they're looking always to engage their architectural crowds of, people in Connecticut, especially for this, for this division of AIA. So
Awesome.
maybe I'll mention it to them that this is coming down the pike next year.
Okay.
And, maybe that's something like in New Haven or in Hartford that they would want to do that.
That is a great idea, Kirsten. Thank you so much for mentioning that. And I can't remember if I let you know the last time we saw each other that one of the characters in the film, thanks to filming this summer, is Bruce Becker, who is a New Canaanite. He lives in Westport now, but he grew up in New Canaan on Chichester in one of the Hugh Smolin homes that Hugh Smolin did with John Blackley. So his history is also very lengthy here in New Canaan. And he is, for those of you who haven't met him yet, he is the gentleman who recently purchased, restored, and made totally off the grid, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but if it's not totally, it's almost off the grid, the Hotel Marcel in New Haven, which was a Marcel Breuer building originally done for the Armstrong Rubber Company, and then became Pirelli tires. So that Kirsten, that's super interesting, because the New Haven and Hartford groups have wanted us to include Bruce Becker and the Hotel Marcel, which I was happily doing anyway in the film, but there is that tie-in as well to Hotel Marcel and then the work that Breuer specifically did in those areas. So
Okay.
sorry,
Well, the ceremony's up.
I'd love to meet them.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
connect you. The ceremony is up near New Haven, and I'm sure that that's sort of the crowd that will be there. So I'll definitely make a pitch.
Oh, thank you so much.
Meg
Thank
is
you.
reminding me that I should probably connect you with Dan O'Keefe, who is he lives in New Canaan now, but he is the head of the state Economic Development Commission. So
Oh.
I should connect you with him. And also, Laura, what's happening with CT Tourism? Is there anything there that anybody that she should be reaching out to?
Laura, when we met with them at your
Yeah.
recommendation, they talked about like loving beautiful video content for ads. That might be an angle.
Yeah, I think once you're ready, I can definitely put you in touch with the tourism director. Meg and I were at a regional meeting, and she's very, very approachable. I mean, literally gave every single person her cell phone. Um, and she'd be a great person to brainstorm with. That would be a real launch pad.
This is the woman from Connecticut Tourism.
Yeah,
Yep.
And I'm sorry, I didn't catch her name. Do you mind?
I can't remember.
Okay, no
Let me
worries.
look it up.
I can always catch up with you.
And what I can do tomorrow is send Devin's contact info out to this group. So that everybody has it. So if you think of something along the way, you can share it with her directly.
I would so appreciate that. As I mentioned in the beginning of my meeting with you this evening, and also as with most documentary films, and that also with feature film world, we're always fundraising. There's always more that needs to be done and more that needs to get paid for. So it's just a constant process.
Yeah.
And so any ideas, any businesses that you might introduce me to or might recommend us to, I would very, very much appreciate. We do have Walter Stewart's on board. They have donated very generously to the film, which is an amazing thing.
Sounds
And I'm hoping that additional more stalwart, foundational New Canaan brands and businesses will also come on board with this film. Because I think it's so important. And I think that it's something that, like a lot of the 501c3s that the town supports, this is another 501c3 essentially that is another opportunity. And actually, if I may just take one quick second, Tucker, to add to this. As far as the fundraising goes, we are umbrellaed in with the International Documentary Association, which is a 501c3. And part of what they do for their members is act as an umbrella for filmmakers where you can do events that are kind of similar to crowdsourcing. So they give you an interface online where people can go online and donate towards your project, which is donating to them. So you get the tax deduction, but those funds are earmarked specifically for the film that they are umbrella sponsoring.
Interesting.
So it's a really great thing because, as you all I'm sure know, it's very tough fundraising for documentary films because it's hard to
Right.
promise an actual financial return, but what we can promise is returns like those which I've just discussed this evening, that we can get a lot of eyeballs, the right kinds of eyeballs on this film, and really, I think, bolster attraction towards New Canaan and what New Canaan has to offer that is so unique.
I think the other thing that we might want to do is introduce you to, the local media in New Canaan, specifically the New Canaanite and the Sentinel. Might be
Okay.
fun story opportunities there for them, as you're
That
moving.
would be great. I know Bob Doran, so
Yeah, okay.
I know I need to reach out to him. He's on my list.
Good.
And then in the past, the New Canaan Advertiser had done a couple of stories about us along the way, whether it was for this film or my other National Geographic PBS projects. So,
They seem to be a
but
lot more
owning
regional
now.
these days. They don't seem to be as local as, it seems like the New Canaanite and the Sentinel seem to be really more hyper local.
Okay. Oh, that would be great. And
All of them would be good. So I'll send you the contacts for that tomorrow as well.
okay, that's
Devin,
awesome.
the tourism
Yeah.
director is Rachel Lenda, Lenda.
Okay.
And the state also has an amazing marketing director. Her boss is a guy named Anthony.
Okay.
He's great.
And we were both panelists at a thing, and he's very impressive.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
Anthony, a very young, very high energy. He's behind a lot of the innovation campaigns, and was asked by the governor to come do this. So I think as you get along, reaching out to both of them will be huge.
Okay, that's amazing. Now, could I reach out to you?
Yep, she's
for-
just Laura at newcananchamber.com. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a necessarily personal relationship with either one of them, but you know, just having heard them speak, you know, they're very out of the box thinkers, and I think they'd be interested in this.
Okay, that is wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll look into that.
So I'm gonna send everybody tomorrow an email with Devin's information, and Devin, you'll see everybody else's, so if you wanna connect with anybody individually, you'll have everybody there.
That is so great. Thank you so much. I
Thanks, Devin.
appreciate
I'll be in
your all-
touch.
Thanks,
Thank you
Devin.
so much. It's great to see all of you, and especially
Devin,
those
I'll
of
be
you
in
I already
touch
know,
also.
and to meet. What's that, Jack?
Well, I just want to congratulate you.
Yeah.
I remember your trailers from quite a while ago.
Yes.
And there is a great hunger for this information out there. I discovered that on my tours and my interest in this. So I think it's fabulous that you have completed this.
Thank you.
For our history,
Thank you so
all-
much.
a new chapter in world art history.
It really is, and it ought to be. And so it feels good bringing it to this, you know, to the point of completion. So we're getting there, 2 months to go, and I'm really excited about it. And I think the people in town, those who know of the story and don't know of the story, are going to be really proud of it. So, and I thank you all, TDAC, as well, because the last time I spoke to you, you all did deliver a grant towards the film project, which has been incredibly helpful. So thank you so much for that decision. And I look forward to, you know, continuing the connection, and I'll keep you all posted.
Great
All
job,
right.
Devin. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Devin, thanks so much. Okay.
Everybody.
Take care.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Bye,
Take care.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
All right, I'm gonna go back to the minutes. Do I have a motion? Hopefully everyone reviewed the minutes of our meeting in October. Can I get a motion to approve? Dan, Laura, all in favor, raise your hand. Anybody opposed? Anybody that I can't see, tell me if you're opposed. All right, it's unanimous. Nancy couldn't be here tonight, but Kirsten or Meg, do you want to just quickly give everybody sort of an update on our meeting on October for design and what our plans are? And as you all know, at our last TDAC meeting, we were talking about sort of how October for Design was going to roll out next year. And Nancy Geary at the New Canaan Museum and Historical Society has really been sort of leading the charge and carrying it all. And so we all got together to think of ways to really expand it. And I'm going to ask Meg or Kirsten or somebody just to give everyone an update on what we discussed and where we're going from there.
Sure.
Kirsten. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to say. So we discussed sort of what happened in this October, which Nancy felt that some things got over scheduled, events, you know, competing with each other. Some weeks of October didn't have anything. Some things didn't make it onto the schedule this year. And so we discussed how to work together as with all cultural and more, you know, sort of all things that relate to design, organizations and businesses that relate to design, to have a more robust schedule far in advance. And so how we work to get the word out and to get information back over the course of the year. So what we discussed is sending a letter to a list of executive directors and others in New Canaan from the, I think we were going to ask for the New Canaan Community Foundation's list
Yeah,
or something
We got
like that.
that. Yeah, we got that. Yep.
So I was going to draft that, and I'm working on that and that would be in January, and then giving everybody kind of an April check-in again to say, you know, start sending your events for October now. But also keeping a sort of a tally of some of the major events, because we already discussed a few, to make sure that they were not, you know, that they didn't overlap and didn't compete, so that the whole month might feel a bit fuller. And so having Grace Farms and the Historical Society and the Glass House in the room to discuss maybe some of their major events, so that we understood where those were landing, was already helpful. And then we can continue that dialogue as we draw in more organizations. I think that captures it.
That was, and of this sort of key steering committee, we're also adding, they were not there, but we felt very strongly that the library needed to have a seat at the table as
Yes.
well, as did the Carriage Barn. So both of them have agreed, both those organizations have agreed. I'm speaking next week to the executive directors, at the Community Foundation. She has that meeting, and that's one of the things that I'm going to be discussing, because we really think that everybody can have some sort of a role in this, and to make this a really robust month-long program. So we're looking forward to it. And we even talked about how the banner project could be part of this. So we'll get to that too. So that's the basic update. Stay tuned on that. But again, it's such an incredible, I think back to what Devin said. I mean, we've got so much going on here in that whole area, and I think we'll just tap into all of it. So that's kind of my update on that, and Kirsten and Meg. So thank you for that. Dan and Katie, do you have anything to bring us up to speed on the banners?
Well, I just want to, for those that were at the meeting last time or participated, and you've heard us talk about some of the projects that everyone has created interest about, two that resonated with me and was some type of banner program that becomes solidified, where organizations could utilize that as a communication vehicle to keep the community, involved in what's happening in the town. It also can create a vitality for the town. These kind of messages that come out on a, and it's to be determined. Is it a monthly? Is it 2 weeks? Because a campaign can last too long, or it could be too short. So that is all to be determined. So the last meeting, I had said that I really would like to just start to try to gather information. And I met with Katie to kind of start brainstorming. And Katie, you can feel free to jump in and just say, we kind of started with like a whiteboard of ideas or challenges that we wanted to be able to kind of put on the table and say, what questions do we need to get answered? Was there anything else that we really did during that meeting, Katie?
Yeah, I was just gonna say we're on a little bit of a fact-finding mission right now. We want to make sure that ultimately however we put this together, it's going to be providing the best value to our community and also all the retailers. And so really what we're working on is understanding costs. So we have some calls scheduled with, I think, Dan, you reached out to the
Yep.
Chamber of Commerce of Ridgefield and Fairfield. So we have those coming up. So hopefully that will give us a little bit more information, and we're going to reach out to some other towns as well. And then just understanding like how we would like put together like sponsorship costs, to what Dan was saying before, like, is this seasonal? And just getting an understanding of like just how it would look, like how we want to approach it. So I think our goal is by next meeting, hopefully we can come forth with a little bit more of like a fleshed out proposal, and just get your guys' thoughts on if you think this is, would be of value to everyone. But we're still waiting on some information and just trying to make sure we understand like how this all would be put together, logistics wise, et cetera.
And I think, Kirsten, you had nicely sent out those parameters that you had.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got those. And then I just wanted to remind you all, again, we don't have a budget per se, but the economic development budget that we can make recommendations for, we have not tapped much this year. And I'm in budget season right now, and I'm having to put together sort of what I think we'll need for next year. So, and it covers a lot of things. It's not just our activities, but I guess my point is that the sooner we can get some real costs. I think just the veterans banners alone got so much attention this year, and were so wonderful. So I think we really need to start with sort of 6 or 8 banners and go from there. And we could do sidewalk sale in October for design and get some design work done. And because the hardware already exists, we just have to buy the banners, basically.
And so Tucker, and because you mentioned that, and you mentioned earlier about sending out lists out that would have Devin's contact information.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind putting either myself and Catherine on that, just
Okay.
because I would like to just open it up to all of you that are participating on this committee to share maybe a question or a resource. One of the things, Katie and I brainstormed are, who are the towns that even have banners? Who are the towns that or areas outside of even Fairfield County that we were kind of impressed, believe it or not, Colorado Springs, I was there many years ago, and I had discovered some things that I brought back with regards to the chamber. And it was just, if there are names of towns or programs that you've seen that, you know, as committee members, that you would like us to then reach out, because then, you know, that's what we're doing right now. Like I did speak to someone from Fairfield. We have a call again tomorrow to really go through some of the details that we know we need to answer or in questions, and then see how they handle it. So we're kind of building, you know, a format on how we'd like to present it to everyone to get your opinion. But if this is really for everyone, you can send thoughts, ideas, and it would give us an opportunity to maybe think of something that we would have forgotten to address.
Great. Well, thank you guys for running with this. And I'm sitting here looking at my screen and I'm seeing Jack and Dan, and I'm reminded that this weekend is the 20th holiday.
Is it really? Wow.
The 20th, which was really, you know, Jack and Dan and a few others brought that to life. And here it is 20 years later. And it's kind of like, you know, caroling on God's acre. People just can't believe that it would never happen. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for that.
And
Right.
Tucker, on another note, like Katie and I really thought about, like, the banner one was something that we felt we could get our arms around
Yeah.
and make it happen, because we do have the materials, we have the polls, and it's really fine tuning it. The other one that was a big initiative that I feel still strongly about is that either, what do we call it? A visitor center, a what's happening, you know, how do we communicate where people can check in on what's going on in our town? That is something that is another project, but we felt that by building kind of the model for this will help us figure out the model for that. And also, that one's a little more difficult because finding that venue or that location where we have that voice is going to be a little bit more of a challenge, and getting a partnership.
Right.
So I just want to put that out there, that is something that we have our eyes on. That would be another great initiative.
Great. Perfect.
So wait, where is Jack? Jack, where are you?
Jack's in Miami, isn't he? Are you at Art Basel?
Oh,
You're muted, Jack.
He's at happy hours. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got it.
Right.
I've been seeing his posts on Facebook, but we can't hear you, Jack.
Well, I hope you have fun. Sorry. I
Having a
was
good
like,
time.
what's going on? Okay.
All right. 250th celebration. So July 4th, 2026 is the 250th celebration of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Happens to be on a Saturday. We already have a small committee gathered through town hall to really start ramping up how we're going to celebrate that as a town. We've got a bunch of ideas. I will keep you posted. We only had one meeting. We're going to have a few more. The reason it sounds like it's very far off, but believe it or not, other towns are already sort of in full gear, have already signed on some different reenactments, like in Ridgefield, where there was the Battle of Ridgefield, things like that. But anyway, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be something that will probably have some sort of a parade element and things like that. So a lot of focus in the town. So I just wanted to keep you posted. I'll give you more information as we move forward, but certainly something to celebrate. Laura, do you want to give them an update on the caffeine and carburetors money?
Yes, so as you all know, the June Caffeine and Carburetors event that was held in town raised $16,000, which is from the registration of the display vehicles. And I had a conversation with Doug and Claire Drexler. And as you probably know, we have a chamber gift card. It's an e-gift card. It runs through a company called Yifty, who manages many of them all over the country. And if I wanted to send a gift to someone, I would put the amount in, I would put my credit card in, and then I would send it electronically, either through text or email to whoever the recipient's going to be. So TDAC has donated $4,000 of that $16,000 fund to go to Supersize or
Not
Bonus Up.
TDAC, Laura, not TDAC.
I mean, Caffeine and Carburetors, sorry. Caffeine and Carburetors has donated 4,000 of that fund, which will, we're saying will rev up your gift card purchases in the month of December. So I launched that program on Friday, and I've put a little press out about it, and I'll be doing more at the end of the week. So it's basically, there's 3 different denominations. So if I buy Tucker a $100 gift card, she will actually receive 140, and that 40 will come out of this $4,000 fund. So we'll see how long it lasts.
So the whole
Um,
point of this was because, the program, the event, the Caffeine and Carburetors event, so many people love it, but the merchants really sort of were feeling like they were bearing a lot of the negative effects, if you will. Some of them were saying it was hurting their business or whatever. So this way we can really say that here's a direct impact, positive impact back to the merchants because of Caffeine and Carburetors. So
There are about 45 stores that take the gift card. I have, sent out multiple reminders if anyone that's not accepting the card. It costs nothing for them to accept the card. If I had a gift card, I would just show it on my phone and they punch in the numbers and it comes out of that debt pool. So yeah, I think it's a great thing for the merchants, just the whole message is keeping your gift dollars local. So, do you want me to talk about other downtown updates?
yeah, please do.
Okay, so we've got a couple new businesses. One of them, it's a wooden business card. It's called the Laurent Ranch, and it's where the CBD store was, right over there next to Uncorked on Elm Street. She's got all sorts of Western gear. She can make customized hats. So it's very unique. I think has a soft opening tomorrow, and then she's going to be open for the stroll. The other thing is where Family Britches was on Main Street, Jay Earl and Sons. He's a local resident and kind of has, I don't know if it's a lot of menswear, but it's a lot of barware and homeware. He's got a real style. He's got a big following. Parrott is his last name, and Perrette, and he's got a big following on Instagram and is kind of a men's style icon. Splash of Pink, which is the Lily Pulitzer store. They are moving down the street right next to Manfredi. And the restaurant Lombardi's is on track to hopefully open in the winter. They're doing a lot of construction out there, which is not making his neighbors happy, but it's got to get finished. And the other big news is the 112 Main Street project, which is that building on the east side of Main Street across from Pinocchio's. It's got the vertical metal slats. They had gotten an approval for a project which would update the retail and convert all the office space to apartments, and they spent a lot of time and energy and money and got approval from planning and zoning, and something happened with the funding and the project is not going to happen. So that building is back on the market, which is kind of a bummer. But the good news is that the Burtis Avenue project seems to be starting up. They're in the process of getting approvals and permits. So that's a big deal. So those are kind of the things that are happening downtown. And of course, the holiday stroll is Friday night and Santa will be in town on Saturday. So we got the whole show ready to go. The gingerbread houses are in the windows. Thank you, Dan, for that idea. 150 of those. And the garland, the lights are in the trees. We've had a good success raising money. We could always use a little more. And the lamppost garland is on and the tags are on. So we're getting there. So
Congratulations.
It's looking amazing. It's looking amazing in town.
It's going to be a chilly one, but it's going to be a good one. Last year it rained on Friday night. Remember, we had to move everything to Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nightmare. But
Yeah.
we got I got all the trinkets, Dan, from the
Genies or whatever.
Genies. Yeah, I
Right.
got all
Yeah.
my wholesale trinkets.
Good.
bleeping and lighting and all the rest. So it'll be a fun night.
That's great. Congrats.
Hopefully you all can join. I did send around, a proposal for, the minutes, for the meeting schedule for 2025. Oh, Jack's coming back on. Again, it's much easier from the town clerk's perspective. It's much easier for us to schedule meetings. If we have to cancel, we can cancel, but if we have them on the calendar, they're regular meetings, and that way we can, if we need to cancel, we can. But so I just would ask that I get a vote to approve this meeting schedule. So if I had a motion and a second, and let me know. Laura, motion, do we have a second? Meg, all in favor? All right, add these dates to your calendar, please. Which means our next meeting will be January 22nd. Wow, crazy. And this is where we like to go around and everyone give sort of updates. I'm just going to start with one. Some of you, and Jack, you're probably familiar with this, but there's a very, I guess, a very special art show, and Kirsten, you may know about it as well, called Nomad, that runs internationally all around the world, and everywhere from St. Moritz to all different places. And they're actually looking at sort of a New England venue, and they're somewhat interested in Waveney House. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if we could do it. They would take over all of Waveney. It's a little, it's really complicated because it would take Waveney offline for about 2 weeks. But it's a very cool. I guess what I love most about it is that the fact that they're even interested in New Canaan. I thought that was fun. So
That is largely due to Abby Bankser. So
yes, so she's been the one who's been in touch with me. Exactly.
Right.
So we've been talking. So I'll keep you all posted on that one. But again, just another sort of feather in our cap for how we're recognized as being such a cultural sort of landmark here in New Canaan. All right. So anybody else? Brock, how's everything for you?
Good. I think Laura's update was great. Retail, there's definitely a lot of demand for retail space that comes available. So that's very good. It shows our vibrant downtown is attracting a lot of demand. So that's all good. And I think Laura's update kind of summarized everything that's going on.
Okay. Kirsten, got anything to add for Glass House?
So we're actually doing like an afternoon sale on Friday, and like Prosecco and such like that. We don't find that after dark that people cross
Right.
street over to our side. So we are participating. It'll just be earlier, ending at 5:30. And the Glass House, we shut down on December 15th for our winter season, and it's been a blockbuster year for us. We've had more visitation than we have ever had. We've had over 15,000, which I think the maximum any other year has been just over 13,000. So that's really good for us. And for the town, everybody goes from our visitor center and has, meals and such, and it's always great. We always direct everyone to take advantage of being in New Canaan. If they've made the trip, they should go see things. So what else? I just mentioned our brick house restoration is being, I think we've gotten 2 awards for that restoration, and we are really proud of that. And now we are preparing our architectural plans for the restoration of our pond pavilion, as well as a landscape restoration of our wetlands. So that'll be very good for next year. And that's about it from us at the moment.
What?
Yeah.
Meg.
First of all, Kirsten, congratulations. You had incredible press around the brick house opening, and I was blown away by the response. So really exciting. So up at Grace Farms, we have a lot going on. The season, what we call the season of light, this time around the solstice in December, is a really loved and revered time at Grace Farms. So we have, if you look at our calendar on our website, you'll see there's a sprinkling of things almost every day in December. So I'll just give you a quick taste. So for example, on the design front, you could go on a tour with Toshi, who is our architectural advisor, who was part of the original design team of Grace Farms with Sana, the famous architecture firm that built Grace Farms. He's doing a tour that specifically focuses on timber, which obviously also has overlaps with our nature programming. We have tons of nature things in December also, from, gardening and sort of indoor gardening workshops and wreath making. We also have, one of the things that might be helpful if people are asking you about New Canaan and different hotspots, is that we're describing Grace Farms as both a cultural and humanitarian center. So it's a cultural center and all the arts and design stuff that we've been talking about tonight. We also have one event in December that is an example of some, towards the humanitarian work that we're doing. Sorry, I have a toddler approaching my desk. And that is that we partner each year with Filling in the Blanks, or another nonprofit to do a gifting for good event, and that's always really popular with young families and single people and elderly people alike. That is next Friday the 16th. And then I'll just give a quick preview of next year, which is the the Humanity and Architecture Film Festival that we're doing in January, which we've already mentioned. And then beyond that, in March, we will have again on the design theme, the 4th annual Design for Freedom Summit, where we have 500 people from the design community coming to New Canaan. So there might be some cool tie-ins we could do with that downtown or at the Glass House. I know Kirsten has attended that in the past. And then the last thing I'll mention is that in May, we're expecting Indre Rockefeller, who has worked with the luggage company Paravel and other social enterprises, including her latest one, the Circularity Project, which thinks about ethical design and fashion. She'll be speaking at our spring benefit May 15th. So I'll stop there, but so lots going on.
Lots going on. It's coming back in.
Can I
Jack,
ask a question that someone in this group might know?
what?
Someone asked me who does who is the sculptor that did the mushrooms in Irwin Park? Does anyone know that?
Oh, I know what you mean. The small ones over by the barn.
Oh yeah, that must be it, right?
Those
Yeah,
are
they've
so
been there a
cute.
long time.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I don't know, but I might be able to find out.
All right.
Yeah, they've been there a long time. I think they were there with the property.
I think so too.
Yeah. Jack, traveling Jack, are you able to unmute and give us here? Let me see if I ask him to unmute, if that will help. I don't know if he can hear us even now. All right, well, maybe not. Katie, you're busy on the banner. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and just actually I think this is for Laura, but I was at Flour Water Salt Bakery in Darien, and I overheard him saying that he wants to open in New Canaan, and so he gave me his business card. So should I just connect him with you directly?
Oh, Brock's
Okay.
working.
Okay, great. Or so, yeah, it's amazing. This is my first time there. It's so good. I was like, please
So
come to.
he lives right across the street from my son, and
Oh,
so
great.
I literally get bread from him almost every day whenever I'm down there. And yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, he would do very
Perfect.
Tucker and
Yeah.
I spent a very hot August or July day walking around
showing
with
him all
him.
the different locations. Yeah,
And is he working with Brock's? Is he working with
I think
Brock's?
so. Yeah.
Okay. I would be in favor of that. It's incredible. So
Yep.
Good to-
I don't know. Sue is on, but I didn't. Oh no, she's joining, so she's having trouble. I wanted her to give us an update on POCD, and I can just quickly tell you it's done. It's been adopted, so there's really not much more to add there. She just dropped off, so I'm not sure. And I kind of think that's it, unless I missed anybody. I'm trying to look around my field here. Unless anybody's else got anything to add, I would just thank you all for yet another year. And I feel like next year, between October for Design, getting some of the banners going, there's a lot going on. I know at Grace Farms and Glass House, all of that. I think we're gonna have a good one. So happy holidays to everybody. Hopefully we'll see you all at the stroll. And if not, I'm hopeful we'll see you somewhere around town before the holidays. But until then, we'll see you. Let's see, January 22nd is our next official meeting. So we'll see you then. And I'll send all the information tomorrow.
Thank you very
Sounds
much.
good.
Thanks,
Thanks so much.
everybody.
Thanks,
Happy
Tucker.
holidays
Have a great holiday,
again.
guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.